Rally Championship, and it could well get as much as 40 degrees as it did last time they were here in 2008. Difficult terrain. So near the drivers head off to the ceremonial start in the Roman city of Jerash. It was to be a very unusual set of overalls for the drivers. Co-drivers, including Kai Lindström, feeling quite pleased that they didn't have to for the Marhead stage. But as part of leading the World Rally Championship is Sebastian Loeb. Will lead away. Of course, we saw the dramas that Mikko Hirvonen had leading stage one, that we know so well of being very tidy, almost understeer on the way and oversteer. Loeb is much more like a race driver than a rally driver, the way he's much tidier, brakes much more neatly on the way and doesn't slide the car as much going through. Mikko Hirvonen, though, very much about trying to make sure that Loeb doesn't get away, and the same very much for Jari-Matti Latvala. Latvala, very quick last time they were here in Jordan. A couple of stage wins, starting third on the road, just has a little bit more of an advantage to Loeb and Hirvonen. See some of the larger rocks. So a good start for Latvala. Ogier and Sordo also up there, as is Petter Solberg. Got to see what happened to Mikko Hirvonen. Can he recover? And Kimi Räikkönen keep it on the road? Well, we talked a little bit about Mikko Hirvonen early on in stage one, and this is what happened. A spin early in the stage, and not one but two stalls getting the car going again meant that he was to lose 10 seconds, and that was to explain why we were to find Mikko Hirvonen only 8th, some 6. Mikko Hirvonen, though, at the start to the rally wasn't good. We saw that spin, losing that time. Oh, but obviously not as good as his teammate Latvala. Other drivers were quick through there. Latvala, and he got stage 3 in third. For Petter Solberg, start of the day saw him second on the opening run on stage 1, and then into stage 2. Also taking second, was 4.3 seconds behind. Also getting him in the top 4. Bastien Ogier saw such a fantastic scrap between him and Petter Solberg in Mexico. Seems to have eradicated any dramas. And Kimi Räikkönen, well, he just said that he was all about finishing. Kai Lindström said that his note stages 2 and 3 from this morning. The Wadi Shoaib stage, the 8.65k stage, the shortest of them. Now Henning Solberg, we saw have some really solid stage times in Mexico. A couple of third places and a second. Mikko Hirvonen has said that he felt this car was a little bit too soft for Matthew Wilson on stage 1. Lost some time when to avoid a very, very large rock that was thrown into his path when one of the cars that went through previously. Again, solid performance, 7th on stage. Looking to build on that and maybe get another top 6 finish here. But for Petter Solberg, it's been a very strong morning. Right in with a shout, second on the first 3 stages. Any kind of tactics. Okay, here second time, only 11.09 seconds, so going to be very, very interesting to see how the crews attack this slope. Well, he's pretty much what the rest of the drivers are able to do. Mikko Hirvonen for this final stage, though, needing to consolidate. But in of the Danny Sordo briefly leading the rally at the end of special stage 3, having won that stage, been thereabouts pretty much throughout. The end of special stage 6 was third, 5.9 seconds behind Petter Solberg and 11.5 seconds away from the lead. Already seen Hirvonen go through. Latvala's been through, of course. Loeb was through first. And Ogier as well. 7th on the road, remember, Danny Sordo, so there's an opportunity to potentially do the teammate job that he's being paid to. Lapola's doing it in one way by attacking and getting road position by Hivenden. For Hivenden there, you can see again that much cleaner line. Stage 7, that's obviously worked, why it's worked so well for Loeb.
Para derecha 7 rápida, corta, acaba rasante 10 fuera, derecha 6. ¿Cuánto vamos? 10 fuera, derecha 6, 40 fuera, 7:41.
And the first split, Sordo was some 7/10 of a second down on Sebastian Loeb, and Mika Herven is slower than all the other front runners. Much better performance for him. He's not quite there on pace, but he's there in terms of... Jari-Matti Latvala starts first on the road. Concerned about having to sweep the road. A lot of the drivers said that sweeping effect had, but it was going to be a performance for Sebastian Loeb that was going to take victory.
Oikea täysmiinus aukeaa yli nypyn. 6. Vasen eri tiukka, aja ja pidä.
The drama for Mika Herven and takes a cut. Car ends up on 2 wheels. Hunts for a gear, you can see the concern on his face. Massive blow to Mika Herven coming into this event second in the World Championship, having won in Sweden. Great big mound on the right hand side. The shock on his face is apparent, isn't it? And immediately followed by deep disappointment. The damage to the BP Abu Dhabi Ford, broken suspension. And the end of a rally for him. And working really hard, and was to end up third, some 12 seconds behind Loeb and 3 seconds behind Ogier. For Henning Solberg, guided now by Ilkka Minor this season. Opposed to Ketu Menerud, who's with Brynildsen this year. Comments about maybe carrying Peter's young 6-year-old son, Oliver, clearly enjoying getting involved with Dad's team.
Petter, first of all, I need to ask you about the new member of your team.
It was very difficult to find him, you know.
You always need to do it 2 times.
Tread blocks move around both in the braking area. And for Matt Wilson, was a solid run through 11. Ended up 9th on the stage. And in 12th, 7th. Really cleaned up as much as he thought, even though that particular stage had been used not just earlier in the day but also previously in the rally. For Latvala, it's going to be a matter of trying to make sure that he doesn't lose as much as he did on the first pass through here. It was over 20 seconds that he lost to Loeb. Mexico was all about Loeb winning, all about bar 1. And on the splits already very, very apparent that the Frenchman is determined to try to eke that gap out. Little mistake there, just running slightly wide. You can see the difficulty in the braking zones. By 24.6 seconds from Ogier, Jari-Matti Latvala, Petter Solberg, Sordo, Wilson, Villagra, Raikkonen, Henning Solberg and Xavi Pons. Anyway, back to rally action. Petter Solberg, solid afternoon as well so far. 4th on stage 17. 3rd on stage 18, 4th on stage 90, going into stage 20. Difficult indeed it was. In fact, Ogier won that final stage, so the final result, 35.8 seconds, the margin of victory. Petter Solberg, another podium for him. Danny Sordo, some solid points. An excellent result for Matthew Wilson, equalling his result here in 2008. Ogier taking 6. Villagra, Raikkonen, Henning Solberg and Xavi Pons winning the S2000 class and finishing 10th overall. That's the World Championship. But a very, very familiar sight. Sebastian Loeb and Daniel Elena at the top of a podium. Latvala a solid and impressive job, and Solberg will be that certain Frenchman. We'll see you very soon.